Hello, party people. My name is Dan Lichthardt, and you're listening to another episode of Oak Performance Radio. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oak Performance Radio. I'm your host, Adam Lane. If you're new to the show, our goal here is to create some content, some fantastic content for athletes, parents, and coaches. We tell stories, have laughs, and go into everything that is the end game of athletic performance, helping athletes achieve their optimal performance and be the best they can possibly be. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Oak Performance Radio. I'm your host, Adam Lane. With me today, Sycamore, Illinois.
Yes.
Dan Lichthardt. Dan, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Our number one listener is now on the podcast.
I've gotten a couple of name drops. Grace has got a name drop on the last episode. Yes. I cracked up like that one when you and Eric were talking, and Eric's like, Dan's going to let me listen to this. Yeah. And Sunday morning driving to church, I text Eric. Didn't get a response back for another day.
It's usually how it works.
I know where I rank. It's okay. So
no, that's everybody.
Yeah.
I think his wife too. Like, give him 24 hours to get back and kind of. So, Dan, this is fun. I'm excited to have you on because we have a lot of kids on the podcast. We have coaches on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Kids who have made this transfer. College kids on the podcast talking about this recruitment journey. Mm-hmm. It's a journey.
It's a huge journey.
Everybody has their own journey. I'm
reading scripture right now, and it's like you're going through the desert.
Yes.
Know? It's like this. Why are we being forsaken? Oh. It's tough.
And
tough.
Everybody's got their own little different thing. Yep. And we've had, Courtney Slinko and Peter Winters on, and they run the recruiting here at BC United. We've had other kids on the podcast who aren't volleyball kids, who have gone through this recruitment thing. Your daughter, Grace. Went through the recruitment deal last year. She is a freshman in college right now. Got recruited, committed, did not have a phenomenal experience. Now is transferring. So she did the whole portal thing, correct? Or
Division III is a little different. You technically have to get released from your college. Okay. So it's really more, and maybe it's the same for Division I. I don't really know. But yeah, it's not so much you see the higher level, now, I guess the portal's open today. So if there's a thing I think it's college volleyball transfers. It's an Instagram website. And I'm just new to. I'm just on Instagram just for my kids. I'm not even really active on that.
You don't need to be.
I don't. But Sydney's on it today. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So, okay. But my point is, some of the big D1 kids, they put their name in the portal. Boom, they're gonna get phone calls immediately. Yeah. Most kids, you put your name in there, just hey, I'm not happy or looking for a different thing, or my coach left, or some situation, and just to try to get your name out there. Yeah. So, but yeah, Grace is. I thought she was gonna be done after 1 year, which as a parent, you go through this journey and you see all this hard work and all the banners and all that stuff, and you want them to keep going. It's like this is the next mountain for you to conquer. It's like you had this awesome club experience. We had an amazing, her level, we've made lifelong friendships. Yeah.
Some great teammates.
Great
teammate parents.
Yeah. We had our, the last 2 years when Grace was here with, Avery's parents and Ella's parents, and, obviously Jason and Brandy, and, even, Ainsley and Kenna and all of them. That group was amazing. And those are people I know I could text right away. And, Eric, no offense, they would text me back pretty quick. So on the volleyball aspect though, it's you're going to kindergarten again. You're all excited and bushy tailed and ready to go. And then it just kind of starts, reality sets in, and it's a huge change. You're going to college, you're away from home. That's a huge factor too. So, and then you go from playing all the time for volleyball, and a lot of clubs, especially in the Division III level, their rosters are so massive and they don't have JV teams. So, you're not going to play. It's just, you're not, the loss
25 people on a team and you only have 6 on a court.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty simple math, and as a parent, you're excited your kid gets recruited. And then once you see that's the reality, you're like, oh man, and that's a lot of these kids, they just get so disenchanted by it because they're so used to competing and they need that competitive, itch scratched and all that stuff. And then they get up there and it's like, there's only so much cheerleading you can do, right? So Grace, not oddly enough,
It's the word I want to look for here.
I say it's divine intervention.
Divine intervention. Found Elle.
Yeah.
And said, hey, transferring to Augustana.
Yeah, it was Elle actually reached out to so I thought Grace was going to be done after this season. We looked at maybe having
to interrupt. That almost crushed me too, just knowing how hard she worked.
Yeah.
Which it's not me. It's not me. It's not my kid.
Yeah.
You know, it just, I saw her work her ass off every frigging day she was in here.
Yeah.
Laying it all on the court, putting all the weights on the barbells and getting after it.
I mean,
never cutting corners and being like, if she was done in a year, I was just be like, oh man.
You're like, something is broken this system, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
Oh.
I mean, she's the epitome of a kid that will grind it out. And I mean, like, you know, literally got jacked. I mean, you know, squats and deadlifts and all this other whatever she does. I mean, you know, I never, ever had to ask her to go work out or do like, it's all on her own, right? No. So yeah, when a kid like that, you know, falls out of love with volleyball and doesn't want to play anymore, it's like
so sad. It's just sad.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It really is. So yeah, I thought she was gonna be done. I thought, you know, okay, maybe I'd like her to go to like maybe UW lacrosse to stay in system. You know, our classes would transfer. Like didn't go into like an NIU. You know, Illinois State was a real good possibility just to have a good college experience. And then Elle had reached out to her like, hey, our right side, you know, is it coming back? We have an opening. And I'm like, man, there's no way. Like, this is not like, don't tempt me with this. Like, don't do it. And it just kind of fell, you know, and she reached out to Ash and I one night. I was like, I think I want to try. So then she reached out to lacrosse, Augustana, maybe one other school. I don't remember. And then Augustana, the coach was like, you know, yeah, I'm super interested. Drove down the next week, had a meeting with her. I haven't really talked to Coach Bethke too much, so and she seems amazing though. Yeah. And you know, Grace kind of felt bad. She's like, I don't have any tape from this year. And you know, the coach was like, hey, when I recruited all, I watched you all as well. Like I've seen you. I know what you can do. So that was awesome. You know,
on the same court at the same time. Yeah.
Like, so that was really cool. That she's like, oh, wow, she actually knew who I was. So, and we just found out they're gonna be rooming together. No. I mean, it's just like the band's back together. I actually just got the schedule today from Jason.
Gosh.
So I'm penciling it all in. Yeah. And,
look out, Quad Cities.
Oh my God. We went out there like a month ago just for like a weekend just to kind of check it out. And, you know, I was giving us a tour. And I mean, she like literally knew everybody like she's walking by, you know, it's crazy. It's super crazy.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
It doesn't. I mean, and, like, that's what you want, right? Like, I mean, she literally... every person, you know, there was a track meet going on and there's a softball player walking by and they're talking and I mean, super excited. I've had a lot of friends go to Augustana too, growing up. So yeah, we had a buddy of mine does what we do at First Alliance and we're having a podcast and this was over spring break a few weeks back. Anyway, we're just BSing about stuff. And then as he's leaving, Elle's here and she's working out and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he sees the you know, Augustana shirt and stuff like that. He's like, hey, do you know blankety blank? And she's like, oh yeah, he's my best friend. Like, I know.
Like, of course Elle would know this person.
She literally knew everybody. Like, and they're rooming together. I cannot believe it. Like it's gonna be quiet. I can't believe I'm just over the moon. Yeah. So So that's gonna be the next happy chapter. So we're super excited. So, and you know, even Stevens Point, like I love the UW system. I think it's affordable. I think it's, you know, there's pros and cons to it. I mean, but the WIAC, it's
affordable is beautiful.
Yeah, it's super beautiful, which we still can't afford it. But it's, you know, it's less expensive. You know? But you know, the WIAC conference, like super competitive. I mean, they're, you know, the one girl that's on her team, you know, 3-time All-American, easily could play D1. You know, that like the level of talent in that conference is phenomenal. I think they had 6 schools go to the tournament. So but I mean, everyone is their club stud that goes to whatever school, you know? Yeah. So,
So here, I'm going to set up this question with this story. So my kids are younger, 13 and 10. For the first time, they tried lacrosse this spring. Because the rule we have in the house is that you have to do a sport in a season. Like, I don't care what you do. I don't care if it's baseball or soccer or, you know, or swimming or boxing or we laid out all the things. Kids were burnt out of soccer. They'd never played baseball. They have no real interest. I thought boxing would be really cool because I've heard really good things about the local. There's one in Beloit, one in and it's less actually getting hit in the face, but more like the, you know, hitting the bag and the footwork and like, this would be awesome. My kids thought whatever, they're going to hit in the face. They were scared. Anyway, decided on lacrosse. they've had a very positive experience through the Rockford Razorbacks.
Okay.
It's been fun. But they are literally it's like a 10-week season.
Yeah.
It is clean, neat, simple, blah, blah, blah. Tonight at practice, talked to my wife. They had the coaches from True Lacrosse, which is a club out of Schaumburg, which is a very large club. And if you know, they're kind of like the VC United of lacrosse. There's a couple lacrosse clubs, but like very much she got the speech today from coaches, and they weren't pushy or anything, but like if your kids are looking to play college, and again, our kids are 13 and 10.
I will say lacrosse. I have a good friend. They live in Huntley. Huge.
We played there last week.
But like lacrosse is really caught on. Well, obviously North Shore suburbs huge, but like Huntley has a really good program. Their son.
That's what we found out.
They're really good. Their son. I don't know the nuts and bolts of the story, but he ended up playing at the IMG Academy for a year. He got invited. Yeah, so like he was stud up here. Got to play at IMG for a year just because they were, I think they were making a 2s or a 3s lacrosse team.
Okay.
So he went there for a year for that opportunity. And then now he's playing at some East Coast school that you never heard of.
Big kid?
No, not massive. Yeah. Okay. But like, I think the point is there's a ton of opportunity because it's one of those like kind of hidden sports. Well, and he's like he has a 5-year full ride. So he'll get his master's. Yeah. Well, it's like,
holy cow.
What a crazy. Yeah. So I would definitely like keep looking into that route.
Well, and so it's interesting because I'm just seeing, and we've talked about this before we hit record. Like, if my kids love this sport, or wrestling, or football, whatever that's kind of their 3 that they're playing right now, and they want to continue at the next level, and cheaper college comes with it. I'm all about it. If college is the thing too, I would love for one kid to become an electrician, the other one to become a plumber. And I think they'll become millionaires within 10 years. But whatever, we'll figure that out. They're still super young. So I'm trying to take this with a grain of salt because you know how excited you can get as a parent and you're like, oh my gosh,
I remember like both, Grace and Soph, they started at small local clubs down by us. Shout out Aggression, good little starter club when you're 6th, 7th, 8th grade just to get your feet wet, and
that's out of Sycamore, right?
Sycamore, Genoa. Okay. So like kind of, we were in Genoa for 1 year. Like they just use like local high school gyms and all that stuff. So, but I mean, Grace's 2nd year Aggression team had like, it was Grace, Kaylee Klein from Genoa. Okay. Who else do we have? Like Olivia Keegan. Wise. I mean, this team was stacked. It was like, for this little club, like we were going to make some noise and then COVID hit. We didn't get to do that much, but, so my point is it's fun to, you get in there and like, that was our first experience. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And then once you really peel the onion back, you're like, okay, like we're this great little team, but then, we're playing, premier or regional level talent. We're not playing open, like there's a whole nother fishbowl we're not even aware of yet, and once you get into it more, then you start to really, see, I tell my kids, there's always someone better than you, like, I mean, it's like, same with me, same with you. Like it's, that's the reality of life, so just, I love like humble, hungry, hardest worker. Like I try to, pound that into their heads as much as you can. Right. And, so yeah, I mean, it's, you like, but you want to give your kids opportunities you didn't have, right? I mean, like, none of this existed when we were kids,
we had no club, anything.
No,
in my day.
And I think we had, like maybe like some Pop Warner football, like in Hampshire, the next town over, like Genoa had nothing, like there's nothing. I mean, literally, I grew up in Genoa and there was nothing, no McDonald's, no nothing. So
looking back, and now there's a McDonald's, and
a Taco Bell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're moving up.
Blowing up.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So looking back, and not that, not using the word regret or anything like that, but if you were to have the lens, looking at Grace from, just a couple years back to where she is now, and then how are you looking at Sophie different than this first experience with Grace? Like, what did you learn? What would you tell a younger Danny or other parents, like, hey, it's really easy to get wound up into,
yeah. I mean,
this or that.
I look back at like some videos I used to like take a Grace, and I still am pretty crazy watching. I think I've kind of ratcheted down a little bit, but so I'm still get pretty wound up. But yeah, I mean, just it's a game, it's still just a game, and just encourage your kids, and I would say, when they have that bad game or, they're not playing quite right or the team's off or something, I always try when we're on, like in club, every year the teams churn over, Grace's 163 year. I mean, magical. Yeah. We went from a club before, during COVID, I had, some decent ups and then had some really, really lows too, and she almost quit volleyball that year. She was a 15s and just did not have a good year. And, Ash was like, you better fix this, so then we switched to VC and we went from, went to Orlando that year, went 0-10, she rolled her ankle. I mean, it was like, it rained every day. It was like, it made me like loathe Orlando, to the next year, 163 with Andre, Kenna L. Ames,
Lily Jarrett was on that Jarrett, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Riley Johnson.
Gosh, yeah.
I mean, that team was amazing. Like chemistry was electric on that team. And then after that year, I'm like begging Eric, like, just leave. I'm sending him emails, like, just leave us alone. Like, we're all good. Leave us alone, please. And that's the dad of me. Even like, that's what I would say to someone else too is, and I've learned this in life. I mean, as you keep growing and maturing, call someone, I mean, last year, 18's year, we thought we were getting a bid. We didn't. I got super upset. Sent an email I should not have sent. Luckily Eric and cooler heads prevailed, and that we talked it out, and it was me. Just I didn't know. I had no idea, and it's that life lesson is okay. Hey, just there's always two sides to every story, right? So try to get both sides, before you make that email or something like that. I would say so. That's probably the biggest takeaway. I would say. Yeah. Now, in regards to Sophie, I would say I'm trying not to push as much, Grace, it was all new to us. So it's like, let's go to this club. Let's do this, let's do these, that's another thing too, is like we would do, you have like those showcases that when you go to the big tournament. So it's like, dude, those are just money grabs. Like, sorry, showcase people, they don't sponsor you. Like
they do not.
They like, like those are just $200 or $300 money grabs. They are literally, that's all it is. If you're that good, you will get found no matter what. Like, especially now with all the, I don't do any of the film or any like that. Like if Sophie or Grace want to do it, they have to do it themselves. I'm not editing their film. I'm not doing any of that stuff. Just like in life, I'm not doing your homework. I'm not doing, you got to be an adult, right?
Yeah.
So that's my biggest thing is a, parent, like don't waste money on that stuff,
So I love that because I'm amazed with just watching. I mean, I'm thinking of my boys' soccer like years ago when we have parents, with the like Periscope recorder. Yeah. Recording 10-year-old soccer.
I know. It's like dude, you're really watching this stuff. Like,
oh my goodness. Yeah. Like, and that this is terrible. One of the parents put out, be like, hey, I think we can purchase one for the team and we can If everybody chips in $75, we can I'm like, these kids, I think Rita was 11 at the time. I'm like, guys, these kids are 11. Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to come up as like the Debbie Downer with this, but like, I'm not going to go home and review film with him. Yeah. Like that.
He wants to play Xbox or whatever. He can give two craps about.
Oh my. Yeah. And sometimes I want him to forget about it, as quickly as possible. I'm trying to remember who I had somebody on the podcast at some point. I think it was a coach. I can't think of who. Oh, it was one of the League One people. Oh my gosh. What's her name? She coached down in Atlanta for.
Yeah. I remember listening to that one.
What was her name? Jenny? Yeah. Jenny from League One. What's Jenny's last name? Anyway, but she national championships and blah, 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 blah. But you can ask your kid, oh gosh, did you play hard? Were you a good teammate? Mm-hmm. Did you have fun? Yeah. Like those are the three questions. Yeah. And not like, hey, on that play, you need to rotate quicker and blah, 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 blah. You're right. Jenny didn't have a very good game. What was wrong with her? Yeah. Blah, 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 blah.
And we do some of that in the car, and you just kind of natural.
Why are you so pathetic right now?
Oh, I know. Blah, blah, blah. It is like, but there is people I know very well that, are like that. And it's like, dude, your kid's trying. Like they are trying. And I would look like a freaking buffoon out there if I was trying to do what they're doing.
Yes.
Right? So yeah, like,
well, especially dads too. Like we didn't play.
I'm like, and I make my comments all the time. Hey, foul through, snap that. I'm like, Dad, shut up. What you're doing. Like, it's like, but again, and I'll talk to some other dads. It's like, I'm yelling cross, and it's like, dude, she's right here. It has to go this way. Libero's out of position, or your turn this way. I'm telling you, like, I've seen it get through 1,000 times, but what do I know?
We've learned some things.
Yeah,
there's just a line there where.
But I'm like, we were just talking when we were offline. I'm a huge podcast guy, so there's a guy, Marty Smith from ESPN. He does a lot of inspirational stuff. If you watch his pieces on, he does a lot of behind the scenes heartstring type things.
Okay, yeah.
But he has his own
30 for 30s,
yeah,
and
those
stuff.
kind of things.
Okay.
Like the one he just did was a guy, got passed away in New Orleans New Year's Day, got hit by a car. So it was his brother just got drafted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Marty was talking about so
the TCU. Totally saw that.
Yeah. So, but he has his own podcast as well. And then he stopped doing it for a while, and then now he's doing it again. But he is he's written a couple of books. I haven't read them. I'm trying to get into reading books.
Yeah.
I need to get into that. But
I'm really good at listening to books.
Yeah, I am too. Like I said, long drive.
Yeah. That Audible subscrition is the best $15 I spend a month.
Yep. But, he says control what you can control, which I think is great, and do it with kindness, effort, passion. If you do those three things, control you control, kindness, effort, passion, boom. Like that's all you need, in my opinion. Yeah. And like we talk, hungry, humble, hardest worker. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yeah. I love that.
Oh, that was Dwayne? That's hilarious.
I didn't know that. I'm sure Dwayne got it from someone else. Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson,
you smell the poet, you're cooking?
The stoic.
Yeah. But that's what I text my kids and my wife and, their aunt every morning, Bible verse or, I try to, because it's all mindset. It really is. Like you teach it in here for them for the future in their lives. Like, if you go to work every morning and your job sucks, well, it's going to suck, So, but if you say, hey, I'm going to have a good day and, going to get a job or going to, lift some extra weights or something. I mean, it's all in mindset. It really is. It's not just coaches speak. It's not jargon. It's real life stuff. Yeah. So
is there anything looking back with Grace, I know we kind of talked about this, but is there anything you wish you as a parent would have done specifically differently? And you have learn from those things. And now, hey, I've definitely pivoted and Sophie's going to turn out so much better.
Yeah. I would, so
sorry, Grace, we love you.
Yeah. It's all about you and how you screwed up. No. So I would say from the recruiting aspect, ask more questions, it's we went on, she went and visited Central College and, Pella, Iowa. And it was nice. It was like a Sycamore. It was
I did a football camp there back in 1995.
Yeah. It was nice. It is. It's like they have that Dutch Fest with the tulips right now. And, they built a $10 million athletic facility because a lot of kids go there because of athletics. Right. So, but the couch is too small. So she's it's just in the middle of Iowa. That's pretty tiny. But then it's really just asking more questions. So when you're getting recruited, okay, what is your roster size like? Do you have a JV program? I remember, I was I don't really want her to have a JV program because she, won't get to travel and all this. Well, it's not down to me. I'm telling people, please, if they have a JV program, that's amazing. Cause at least you can play and do some stuff. If they don't, you're not going to play most likely, unless you're some freak athlete, that is the 100% reality, So, ask questions, just look at their rosters.
Ask questions as a parent or encourage your kids to ask more questions.
Yeah. I mean, I would both, honestly. I mean, cause as a parent, you have the right to ask too. I mean, you're the one cutting the check, right? You're the one, dealing with the phone calls when your kid is having, panic attacks and, that real raw stuff. So, now don't be an overbearing parent. I never once, ask about playing time or anything like that. Cause I mean, they are upfront. They're hey, you're going to have limited playing time. And I appreciate that. And, I knew going in, I knew the first game I watched that season that, I'm she's not going to play it all this year. And it's the reality. And okay, now you have to pivot and focus now, in that other program, it's, I think there's other things they can do to help kids, you know, stay there and stay encouraged. But that's just not the reality. I think that's a lot for a lot of kids too. And it's hard. I mean, we know another girl that, you know, coach left this, you know, program, you know, new coach comes in, there's 5 or 6 players left over. They get through their spring season, and the coach tells them you might as well enter the portal because I'm bringing new kids in. And it's like, God, that sucks. I mean, that freaking sucks, you know?
Jeez.
But it just keeps getting pushed down. You know, it's like even the lower level Division I teams, you know, like all those MAC schools, it's competitive. I mean, it is just freaking cutthroat, you know? So
is there any, did Grace go in with the expectation of, hey, I'm going to play, or did it enter her mind like I might sit the bench all year? Is that?
It was like, I don't think we had a false hope of like thinking we're going to play like start or anything like that. But I thought there was like a thought of maybe we would play a little bit. And then, you know, to me, it was more just like, you know, how are, you know, like how the practices are structured and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's just like, if you're going days without even like getting real reps in like practice, like,
how are you going to get better?
How are you going to get better? You're not, you know? So that was my biggest beef is like, you're not, you know, okay, you want a huge roster, that's fine, but you need to pour into all these kids the same equally. Yeah. Like I get, you know, your stud players are going to play and you're going to really pour into them, but you got to give these kids something too, you know? Yeah. So.
Jade Kaufman, who's been on the podcast a couple of times, went to Milliken. They have a JV program. Jade had one of the most positive college experiences that, you know, which is funny because she was a premier athlete. Yeah. She never played the elite level, but just did her thing and kind of, I don't even know how much actual varsity she played, but did. You know, they had a lot of kids.
They have a great program too. I mean, they're phenomenal.
She had so much fun. Yeah, like really like a rewarding college experience where it's like this, like what you'd want at like what I want for my kids. Like,
and that's what, you know, and in the end, people like, you know, again, unless you're going to play, you know, professional volleyball or love volleyball or, you know, whatever this new league, you know, like,
Big Ten volleyball.
I watch it all on TV. I mean, I watched a freaking Nebraska, Kansas scrimmage, you know, it's like, I can't get enough of it, you know, but again, those players, you know, they've been getting recruited since they're 12 years old because they're 6'2" at 12 or something crazy, right? Like find that college where you can have fun. You can have a, you know, again, even at Division III, you have zero social life in the fall, even at Division III, you know, because you're traveling to away tournaments, or if you're at home tournaments, you're hosting them and breaking the courts down, setting them up, you know, it's like, you may be like, I know for her, like, you know, Grace had maybe, you know, 3 Saturdays you could actually do something for your first whole semester. Like you have no life, you know, so be ready for that. That's at any level. So
tell me if you agree with this statement. So I'd heard the opposite. And then we had Anna Stevenson Hall, who played at Louisville, who is now playing with League One Madison. And we had her on the podcast, and she said the comment that most, you know, recruitment people and you hear the thing, go to the college that is the great fit for you, you know, that has your major and you just, without volleyball, you could see yourself staying there, you know, you like it, you feel at home there, even if volleyball were to blow up tomorrow, you'd at least have the college. And her argument was that's terrible. That's a terrible recommendation because, in essence, volleyball is going to consume you or fill in the blank. Any sport, whatever you're doing, lacrosse, football, blah, 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 basketball, is going to consume you. So the idea that, I love the football field. I can't wait you're not going to football games,
you're not
guys.
Doing any of that stuff. Like,
there's Saturday mornings, you won't be there.
No, I mean, and it's so true. So it's like, you know, we didn't know much about, you know, Stevens Point. And I mean, it's a nice town. I mean, it's like a Sycamore, but bigger. You know? And I mean, I enjoyed it, you know,
lots of trees.
Yeah.
Very woodsy.
Yeah. And but again, the student body, it's like a natural resource, you know, student body. So it's just a little different, you know, every UW school has its own flavor and you know, what they are. But even talking to like some of the kids are like, in the summer, like it's just dead, you know, like there's nothing going on, you know? So, you know, not saying, you know, Whitewater or Oshkosh or lacrosse, you know, lacrosse actually is pretty good. Like I would say like they had a pretty good, you know, scene, it seems like. So, but, you know, again, to your point, I say that too. Like I was, you know, one of my good friends, his son's a senior in high school at Fenwick High School, pitcher, you know, was looking to play, you know, baseball, had to, you know, look in here, there. I think he's going to Benedictine, you know, and, you know, and I said the same thing, like, you know, choose it, you know, if it doesn't happen, that you'd still be happy to go there.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to say because a lot of the opportunities they're going to have, they're not going to be at, even their like third or fourth choice. Right. Yeah. So it's tough. It is so tough. So
yeah, I think it is. I'd never heard that. The way she said, I'm like, oh, that totally makes sense. Because we have kids and then they have, crummy volleyball and I don't know, they could say, but they don't, they want to play and it's like, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say like one other thing in like the club level, we've had nothing but good things on like team selection, like, so to like back it up, like we come to, VC after Grace was at a previous club and that was during COVID year. So we actually played L's team in Indy.
Oh, that's funny.
And we didn't even know each other. But this was like when the parents were reffing, only one person could go to every tournament, numbers were limited. We're all masked up and all that craziness. Well, so I was like Facebook living the games and like, I can't keep my mouth shut. So I'm like making comments and Jason Jones is actually watching the game and he's like, man, this guy's kind of funny, So then Grace and Al do tryouts together and Al goes home and tells Jason and Brandy, like, I don't care what team I'm on. I just want to get Grace's team, and it's like, I think our dad's going to be good friends. And it's like, Al, you were so right, so it's just funny how it all works. But my point is, let it play out. It's a process, right? I mean, and like, for Grace, 63, 72, 82, like zero complaints, different, every coach is different. Andre, great dude, had an awesome time.
Motivator.
Yep. Jen Charles, that's our high school coach. So we're like, man, how's this going to work? And we had a really great season. And then, Michelle, I'm like, I don't know. And, I hug Michelle every time I see her.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Like we had a great, and for Sophie, we had Bill last year, this year with Michaela, like, and it's like, and that 16 year is so tough. Cause like, so many kids come in and it's like everything, like that just reshuffles and kids are leaving and all this other stuff, and it couldn't work out better. Like it's like she's having a really great season. Yeah. So
I think that's hard to be patient and let things happen and not like lose your mind over, thing. Now the tough thing is, I think on the parent side of things, because we've seen how VC does it. I've seen behind the scenes with how all of Eric's spreadsheets and all the coaches sitting in the meeting and them literally like arguing over kids. I think this kid, this kid, they have good points, and, we're trying to figure this out, but then kids change, like things happen and, or injuries happen or something. And it's like, oh, but then I also see then one of my kids have done other clubby things. I've seen clubs not put that effort or an attention to detail into it. And then myself as a parent becomes very frustrated that like, why are we half-assing this? And, I have spoken up at times in a controlled manner where, this fell up, but that's the frustrating part of club sports, that it's not all equal. We're dealing with people. Some of these people are fantastic. Some of these people are a little less fantastic and some are all in it for the kids, which is kind of what it should be. I'm okay with making it a business and livelihood too, but like you shouldn't exploit it. And
well, I mean, and it's, again, it is a business, right? Like, but also it's a unique business because they're trying to, improve other kids and, all the stuff that we do here. Right. But you have to, it's just like anything in life. You have to trust, like trust is the foundation of everything, and, and it comes out and then this sounds really bad, but I've said it multiple times, like, spoiled parents, make spoiled kids, so it's like, if the parents are the ones giving the kids looks, or if they're the ones, feeding into their being upset about this position or not doing this, it's like, just be happy your kid's on the team and we're all gelling together and having a good time. It's like, we're not, it's, we're 164, man. We're not we're not playing open. We're not, and just let it come together, just give it time. So we've had a good season. I've been I'm actually excited to go to Orlando. It's like, this will be our 5th year in a row going. So it's just like,
you got 2 more then.
I know. One more. Well, so she's 16, so 18.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right.
So we're going to really go out with a bang. That last year. So
it's funny that you said, so I remember, I coached basketball eons ago. and we were playing in some weekend tournament in Little Oregon High School.
Yeah.
And we were specifically
in the field house when they had the field house.
Yes.
Okay.
However, that's not where this game was. This game was in their insanely hot actual main gym. It was summer, hot, sweaty, we were offensively trying to work on some specific things. And so we were being very patient with the basketball. We were swinging it side, top, side. We're trying to get some post looks. If it wasn't there, hey, we're looking at top down options. And if not, hey, we're swinging again. We're just being patient. One of our mothers of one of our kids is yelling, shoot the ball, Kristen, shoot the ball.
She has no idea what
this
you're
is
trying to do.
Quiet, Saturday or Sunday. Yeah. There's all of 8 people in the gym. Mm-hmm. Finally, Chris goes, Mom, that's not what we're doing, and yells at her. And it's I felt embarrassed for the mother. I'm trying to remember why I brought this up to your point of something that you just said there, Dan. But
I was at a high school volleyball tournament, and I slammed the bleachers, and it was dead silence after that. And Sophie looks at me like, what the heck are you doing?
I don't know that guy. Who's that? Whose dad is that over there?
I am that guy sometimes, unfortunately. I'm trying to get better. It's like a disease. It's like you're just...
You get into it.
It's... like I said, I'm in construction, in the office, not in the field, but a guy that we do a lot of work with. So his niece Haley's on Sophie's team, super small world. They live in McHenry, but he has 2 daughters. I think it's a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old or something. And he is we're getting bids, we're doing, so he called me Monday. He was like, we just did this. He's like, I had to call someone. I didn't know who to call. I just had to get it. He's like, because nobody understands. I'm like, hey man, I get it. So that's the beauty of it. And he's an older dad, his kids are young and he's older, and he was like, this is just crazy. This is, I'm like, it is a beautiful, fun sport, but it'll consume you too. You gotta,
I'm taking it to other sports here. Reed, my oldest, was wrestling in wrestlebacks at the sectional meet for 3rd place to go to state.
Yeah. I didn't realize how big kid wrestling was. It's insane.
Oh, so
McHenry has a huge program.
Yeah.
I keep talking McHenry, but we have a lot of, working in Wakanda.
Sycamore does too.
Yeah. Sycamore. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Shout out Chance.
Chance.
They do have a good program, but one of our sewer foremen, he coaches in the McHenry youth program.
Okay. Yeah.
And I realize how many kids they have.
Yeah.
And they sent 24 kids to state for whatever.
Mm-hmm. We see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we all go to the same tournaments.
It's like the level club value, right? But some of these kids are 8, 9, 10, right?
Yeah.
They're young.
Yeah. So and they're 8, 9, or 10, but they've been wrestling for 12, 13, or 14 years. So do that math right there. But because they're that insane with it. But no, my wife videotaped, which we do at times. Sometimes the kids want to see how they do. If they don't, whatever, we don't care. Watch this, son. What the heck were you doing? Yeah. We don't, but so in this final match, in Reed had lost to this kid probably 8 times before. He beat him the previous week at regionals, in which to win the regional championship. So he was flying high, but he knew he was, good competition. And he just got in a goofy position and got spladled. I don't know if you know what a spladle is. It
sounds painful.
It looks exactly like it sounds. Exactly. But it's a goofy move. This is not a move. This is not a foundational move. This is just 1 in 100 times that this happens. And he kind of slipped out of position and Heather's got me in the picture here coaching kind of behind our coach. And you watch me and
you're just dumbfounded.
I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I moving?
This is
calm down, Adam, calm down.
If you put a video on me when I'm watching any volleyball, I'm going it's not pretty.
Dan, let's wrap this up. What if other 16-year-old parents, 15-year-old parents, that sounds weird when I say it, parents of 15-year-olds, parents of 16-year-olds.
We were young, we had our kids, but
but very mature, very.
Ash was, I was not.
I'm still not.
Not me neither.
But parents are of our younger athletes who are about to embark on this. Courtney just had a little sit down with the 16s last week about, hey, we need to get on this recruitment thing. You need to email people, you need to text people, texting, whatever. You email, get your list. Feel free to reach out to your dream school. Do it. I'm not going to tell you not to, but also reach out to, others good options.
Yeah, be realistic. I mean, it was, and that's how crazy it starts is like, Grace's journey started. I want to go somewhere warm, South Carolina, Texas, Florida. And like, yeah, you can do that. That's fine.
University of Texas, University of Florida.
And it's like, okay, then, she kind of, I think she had talked to like Ball State or, I know that's not down south, but, finally a coach actually like emailed her back. Was like, can you touch 10 foot? No. Can you do this? No. He goes, if you can't do any of those, I'm not even like talking to you or looking to you. Like that's, and it was a good thing. Cause then she came back and, talked to Peter and he's like, I've been telling you, you need D2, D3. Like this is what you have to look into. Yeah. So my point for that is we are super blessed with the amount of like NAIA, D2, D3 around here in the Midwest. Like I get it's, awesome to go, I Ainsley found a, place in South Carolina, wherever, like they do exist. But I told Grace too, I was like, in the South, like there's a ton of Division I schools. Then there's a lot of like Baptist Bible schools. Yeah. So it's like, you have to pick and choose your battles, right? I would say just have an open mind. You never know where the journey is going to take you. Just have an open mind, stay positive. It is a journey. It's, I know, the one graph kid, she just committed recently. Addie's on Soph's team. And, it's hard. Like, when you have, the thing and everyone's committed and you're not committed yet. And it's tough. I mean, like, another thing I tell myself every day is, comparison is the thief of joy, and it's so easy to,
that's awesome.
It is so true. Every day you compare yourself to that flag up there or whatever, you have to look at, what are your opportunities, cause when you first started, it's like, and I'm super excited for Augustana, but it's like, I don't know, like it's small school, Quad Cities, like, I love the Quad Cities. I mean, I was like, Bat River Brewing went to was awesome. That Atomic Coffee thing, I thought that was kind of overrated, but Elle and Grace are super geeked out. What's that sub place out there? Arthur's Deli. Oh my God, so good. So yeah, just have an open mind to it, right? Okay. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. So, and don't freak out on the process. Don't make your kid older than they are. If they're 12s or 13s, give it some time, They're not 17.
Not even a conversation.
Just let them have fun, and also like be open to having, Grace and Soph only did volleyball, and it is a load just doing club volleyball. Yeah. It really is. I mean, I've seen Lily Jarrett, her shins were cash doing track. I remember Kenna coming in here hobbling from soccer, like Sophie's teammate Lizzie right now is doing one of their growing thing, playing soccer and volleyball together. It's tough, but, be open to that though. That's where I miss out. Like I wish we would have done, some high school stuff too, but there's only so much you can do, right?
It's a tough line where we, like 15 years ago, we had kids. I think kind of like we were pretty balanced. They were 2-3 sport athletes, but we also kind of had seasons. The club thing was kind of a thing, but like, whatever. And then we got a lot more special, single sport athletes going on. Which obviously there's some negatives with that where, you get to, but now people have like read that research, be like, oh, I need to be a multi-sport athlete. But like, we have kids that are doing 2 or 3 sports at once.
Well, there's kids that do multiple club, club basketball, club volleyball, to do like a high school varsity sport and a club at the same time. So tough, let alone.
So tough.
Yeah. And our bodies physically can only handle so much,
I'm struggling with some of our force plate data because we have kids who are going down right now, but they have 2 hours of soccer practice before this. Yeah. And then they come and they try to lift with us.
Yeah. They're just exhausted.
They also have lifting PE class.
I know, yeah.
I'm like, you're working out 6 hours a day. Yeah. Like,
oh no. And probably not eating much.
You wonder why your knees hurt. Yeah. And they're not eating much.
I know. Yeah.
That's a daily conversation. Raise your hand if you have breakfast. Yeah. Or if you had breakfast, and half the kids raise their hands like, oh God.
I know.
Raise your hand if you ate lunch. We're up to like maybe 70%. I'm like, how do you not eat lunch?
Yes, I know.
I love lunch.
Well, it's crazy. They eat lunch at like 10:30 now.
Well, there's that too.
That's like their schedules are so nuts. Gosh. So now Sophie can drive now. So she's driving home for lunch and doing all those things.
Holy geez.
So, yeah. And I have to say, your dad was the best driver's ed teacher ever. I loved.
He'll have to listen to this.
Yes, please. Shout out, Mr. Lane. You scared the crap out of us in class, and it was awesome. So,
Slamming the podium.
Oh, you will die, folks. It's not a game. But I mean, we needed the fear of God in us, and he did it. So
yeah. Oh boy. Oh, Denny.
Yeah, I love him. Great guy.
That's fun. Dan, I appreciate your time with us.
Thank you, buddy.
No, this is fun. I do want, and this is not easy. It's not easy to parent in 2025.
No.
Not that it was easy to parent.
It's not easy for kids to grow up nowadays.
No.
I mean, like the Life 360, like I'm looking at my kids, like, thank God we didn't have that.
No, yeah, exactly.
My mom, Darlene, would not want to know where I was at.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I do not. I want to hide. But like, it's hard to be a kid. It's hard. Like everything is on video.
Everything's on. Like it's the social media stuff. It's just like the nuttiness. You know?
Oh my gosh, it's so and just mess. And I have boys. I don't understand what it is to have girls. But man, it's all. I mean, and it's again, you're comparing yourself to others. Yes. It's like you don't like. Yeah, they're taking this smile, this picture. You don't know what's going on around them. Yeah. I mean, you know, and it happens in it's adults too. It's everybody. Yes. You know? So, look how happy we are. And this thing. Oh, it's like sunset. Okay. Well, every time I see you don't talk to your husband or like, or you won't even say hi to me. It's like, I see you in the store and you're walking by me. Like, I thought we were Facebook friends. But we have some stoic quote going on after, me in a sunset, obviously living my best life. And good goodness. Yeah, I put it all out there, man. It's the good with the bad. Too. That's when you know you're real. So. I think that's the funny stuff right there. That's the no, but I appreciate this. I appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate you listening to every single episode. Helps our ratings that much. But I need to do some 5 stars for you, man. Get on that. Come on now. Thank you. But parents, if you ever have any questions, I will talk to anybody. About it. Honestly, like it's a crazy journey. It's scary. It's exciting. It's all this stuff. Right. Yeah. And, you don't know, you're just going in blind. You have no idea, And I do think it takes a village to make sure the kid is on board, the club is on board, cause again, I think between Peter, Courtney and Eric, they know every college coach in like a 400-mile radius. Like they can place you. I feel bad for our kids that don't play volleyball, that are trying to play sport and they have no idea what to do. Because their high school coach doesn't help them. They don't know what's going on. And again, the JUCO route, Grace's boyfriend went to Rock Valley. I mean, there's a kid from Sycamore, Ethan Storm, going to Oklahoma for baseball next year. Connor, he's going to, New York State next year for baseball. Like that Rock Valley, man, they churn out. There's a girl from Sycamore. She's going to Washington Huskies to play softball. Yeah, I mean, like she didn't go to Rock Valley. She went to somewhere else, but still. Well, now that JUCO, they still have their eligibility. Yeah, I know. Yeah, who knows how it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, these kids can make more money in college than they can when they get drafted. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother podcast. No, but I do think that when you have the kid on the same page as the parent, which on the same page as whatever the club and coach here, like that makes for the ideal. And I think that's what, even though Grace didn't have a good experience initially, to be able to, pivot, have have your guys' support, and then she really, and I like how I thought she was going to be done, and you were okay with it, and it's just like, we had a conversation. It was like middle of September, and it was like early. I mean, and I finally, because I'm texting her and hey, stick it out, kid. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. All that coach speak stuff. So finally, it was like one Saturday, and she's miserable. I mean, they get done with the tournament. She's miserable. I'm like, kid, if you want to be done, don't do it for me. Do it for yourself. She's like, oh my God, Dad, you have no idea how relieved I am to hear that. And I'm like, as a parent, like, oh my God, what pressure was I putting on her, So it is just a game, but you want your kid to like graduate and say, hey, I was that 3 or 5% that stuck it out, to have that feather in their cap. That's all you want for your kid. And again, it could be a thing where she does wait it out, and then she overcomes adversity and, and that's why I was like, you got to have this experience and now next year's going to be, awesome. Yeah. It's gonna be great. So, So parents, moral of the story, it's probably going to suck. It's not going to be easy. There are going to be highs and lows of the whole thing. And, it's going to be tough. Even if it's just crazy because college, a lot of them aren't staying at the same spot. Even, even if they have a good experience, they're leaving, for another college. So
unfortunately you have to.
But the coaches are leaving too. It's not just the kids.
Yeah.
It's, gosh.
Yeah.
And I get it. If that's your livelihood, that's how you pay the bills and stuff like that. But it's so frustrating that, you build this rapport with a coach, and then they leave and the new coach comes in and be like, hey, you should just find a new school oh my gosh.
I mean, like I said, I heard that recently and it's like, I couldn't imagine. I mean, like I couldn't imagine having, a couple weeks left in your spring semester and trying to figure out now where I'm going next year. Like it break and this is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, it is a journey. Like enjoy the simplicity of the club when they're here. Cause it definitely changes.
Yeah.
But,
There you go. Parents, we tried to wrap that up like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And we just kept going.
Yeah. My phone's blowing up.
No, the kids are going to finish practice here in a second.
Yeah.
There we go. Awesome. Well, again, sir, thank you.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Listeners, thanks for listening. We'll check in on the next one.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for listening to another episode of Oak Performance Radio. Don't forget to check us out on the social at Oak Performance and online at www.oakstrength.com/Oak Performance. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.